hello to you everywhere, wherever you are. It's lovely to be with you in my lounge. And while it's not raining out there, it's kind of misty, moisture. I don't think the Wi-Fi would work terribly well. And besides, that means I get to show you rocks, and there is just no downside to showing you rocks. So today we're going to start with a fabulous sparkly thing from my friend Jenny Paolo's collection. I mean, isn't that awesome? And you might say, what is it? Good morning, Mike. So it's got a little label on it, and I'm going to read you the label. The label says Orlimanite. I have no idea what that is. Manganocalcite. I know what that is. I'll point that out. Enterodite, I think. And I don't know what that is. So I know that these little, they look sort of white, but manganocalcite is a faint pink. It's coloured by something. So that's what the little pale bits are. And if you look carefully, these crystals, there's dark brown ones and there's lighter brown ones. And I would say that is the Orlimanite and the Enterodite. And more than that, I can't tell you. So that is today's rock. And what I love is what it's growing on. Look at that. It's fabulous. It's just the most beautiful thing. And I love being able to see what it grows on. Look at that. It's like a picture. So yeah, and I think this one's from Namibia because the little label has a NA at the bottom. There's its number. So yeah, it's just gorgeous. And the interesting is the box that it's in, it was kind of tucked away because everything's all padded. And I couldn't see it, and I thought, oh, well, I don't know what this is. I pulled it out. It's like, oh, because this one's on sleepover, right, from my friend. So it's like a little box of treasures, and I never know what I'm going to see. So there we go. That one is there. And the next one that called to me today, because that one called to me, right, when I'm choosing crystals to share with you, I don't just go, I have that one. It's like, who's squawking and saying, I want to go play? Hi, Andrea. So that one squawked. This one is probably, in truth, the first crystal that ever made it into my life, and that is because it's a piece of rock that I remember being in a little cabinet with some other treasures when I was small. It belonged to my mother. So possibly either it came from England or she found it or bought it or something when she was young in Dunedin. That would be my guess. So it's a rock, and it's got chrysocolla and a bit of malachite on it, and it puzzled me for years because I didn't know what that was. So, you know, it could even just be a piece, I don't think it's cooperite, but the base stone is quite brown, so maybe this was picked up in a copper mine, I don't know. But it's wonderful, and it mystified me for years because I didn't know what it was. And finally, I discovered that it's chrysocolla and probably malachite. And yeah, so it's the very first quote-unquote crystal that was ever in my life. And last but not least, and perhaps a little appropriate because we're talking about surrender today. Really, that's what we're talking about. Is this beautiful piece of blue lace agate. And I'm very fond of blue lace agate because it's so soft and calming and peaceful and, you know, it's just beautiful, and I can turn it round and round, and it's always lovely. Good morning, Holly. Good evening to you, because you're on the other side of the planet. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to see everybody who's jumping on. I appreciate you joining me. And look at that. You can see the grain of the thing. So, those are our rocks today. So today, I want to talk really about surrender. And surrender really, I mean, it applies... Because surrender is what I'm doing right now, okay? Surrender applies most of all when something comes up in your life, and it could be small or big, it doesn't matter, but something comes up where you are here and there's something you want there, and you may even know that, you may really know that what you desire is going to happen. But you're here and it's there. And you can't see how you're going to get from here to here. Therefore, your rational, analytical 5% of the conscious mind that, you know, you think is running your life, but actually the 95% that's unconscious and subconscious is doing all of that for you. That part can't work out how to get from here to here, and so it starts to worry and stress and think, oh, how can I make this happen? How can I contrive this? How can I push this? How can I, you know, whatever. That's the normal response. But actually, whenever there is a situation where you can't see how to get from A to B, and your brain starts to do that thing of trying to work it out, that is a moment that if you are aware, you will realize you are faced with a choice. And the choice is, fundamentally, do I go into some degree of survival, which means I'm going to run, fight, or freeze. I'm going to push. I'm going to try to control. I'm going to manage it. I'm going to become vigilant. I'm going to, gather all the information and try to work it out and make it all happen. And this is me, by the way. Or it was me. That's survival. And that's what we all do, and that's what we get all told to do, get the checklist and tick all the boxes and make it all happen and push and try and, and if it doesn't seem to be going, push harder and try harder and stress, right? Fundamentally, it's a stressful state when we're doing all of that, trying to work it out. And there's nothing wrong with taking action, but it's the sponsoring thought, if you like, the energy, the vibe, the emotion that's actually driving whatever you do that I'm talking about here. Because you can have two people taking the same actions, and one of them is doing it because they're scared if they don't do it, the thing's not going to happen, and the other one is doing it because they know it's going to happen. They don't quite know how, but they're just taking the next step and they're going with the flow and they're planning and they're organizing and, but they're not doing it out of fear. So that's the survival option. And fundamentally, it's about stress. Or you can go into creation when you have, here's A, here's B. Gee, I can't see how to get from one to the other. And in creation, you relax and you still take action. I'm not talking about throwing up your hands and saying, well, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to lie here and wait for, $1 million to fall out of the sky, or the person that I want to have in my life to just walk up and bang on the door and say, here I am. It's not about that. But it's about being able to have a desired goal or achievement or outcome or whatever, and know that, and sometimes you really just know that something is calling you and it's going to happen, but you can't see how you're going to get there. And it's actually being able to relax and trust yourself. Oh, geez. Trust what you can't see, trust the unknown, trust possibility, trust the unified field, trust God, whatever you call it. That the bits that you can't see are available somehow. I don't want to say all taken care of and in place for you. All the words that people use, somehow it's like they all bring up the wrong associations for me. But somehow the path from here to here is actually laid out, but you can't see it because you're only looking through the lens of what you know, which is your past, and where you're going is somewhere different, and you might be going places that you haven't even thought of to get there, right? And so you can still take all the actions that you can logically, and because of the memory bank and all your experiences, you've got all of that in your head, and you can do what you know how to do. And you know that you can do what you know how to do, and there's a gap between what you know how to do and where you want to go. And instead of stressing about that gap and trying harder and working harder and pushing and forcing and controlling and even, trying to climb over other people, which is what some people do, they push in and force and all of that, you can actually trust what you can't see, but you can sense, because you can sense that end, that thing that you desire, enough to relax and to relax with not knowing. And you can possibly tell that this is something that I'm right in the middle of, because I'm sort of meeting these gaps in my words, because I'm trying to gather the thought, or I'm trying to conceptualize and put into thought the things that I'm currently experiencing. And it kind of goes like this. For me, the word surrender really has been about, there's a war and one side gives up. I'm beaten. That is not the definition of surrender. The actual, this is the association that a lot of us have, I think. So, oh my God, I'm beaten. I throw up my hands. I give up. I surrender. I give up. Good morning, Lisa Louise. That's not really what surrender means to me now, because I'm building a different neural net of what surrender means to me and what it, and when I say means, I don't mean intellectually, I mean viscerally. I mean as an experience, right? So what I am coming to understand, and understand says word, what I'm coming to know, to viscerally know and feel and understand viscerally, is that for me, surrender means trust. That ugly word. Trust. Oh God, trust. And there's a wonderful thing that my inspiration, Dr. Joe Dispenza, said recently on a Dr. Joe Live. It was just, in passing, and I know I've mentioned it before, about what surrender now means to him. He used to say that surrender is a delicate balance between intention and living life is a delicate balance between intention and surrender. Abigail, good morning. So you have this clarity, but you have to be able to let it go. You have to take action, but you have to be able to, And so that's actually it's not that that's changed. But he talks about surrender. He says, my understanding of surrender has grown over the years. And what he explained is he says, I had this really great mother. Now, for those of you who did not have a great mother, please don't switch off. This is his example, okay? This is his example. So just get out of the neural net that just went off in your head about how awful your parents might have been, and just listen for a minute, because it does all kinds of things to me, so I know what this is like. My mother was not a monster. She just had her own stuff going on. So he was blessed. He had really amazing parents. And he said, when I was little and I went to my mother and I asked her for something, I knew, because of the relationship between them was really healthy, I knew that she was going to do it. If she said yes, I knew she was going to do it. So I didn't have to sort of start saying, oh, Mom, you're going to do this? Mom, when's it going to happen? Mom, he would just relax, because there was a healthy, safe, relaxing kind of space between them. So he knew that when he asked her for something, that it was going to happen. And so he talks about surrender as being like that now. That if the universe, if the source, if the unified field, if God, if whatever you want to use for that bigger thing that's bigger than us, of which we are part, is like that, if that bigger thing is like that, then once you and I have held the intention and got really clear and had the sense of what it feels like, clear intention, elevated emotion, you got to have that. You got to have the two to send a clear signal. But once that's done, and this is experience I've had the experience of knowing in my soul that what I have intended and created in the unified field but haven't seen yet is going to happen in 3D. It's done in 5D. My body and my life just have to catch up with my awareness and my mind. I understand that. But what I noticed was I was falling into this gap between here I am and here's the thing that I know. And I really know it. So why am I feeling so stressed? Because I can't see how I'm going to get from here to here. So what do I do different? What do I need to do differently? Because as long as I'm in stress, I'm not in creation. I'm not getting closer to this if I'm freaked out about it. So I thought, I can't remember what I thought, but I realized that as long as I'm trying to work it out, that's not going to get me there. I've got to let go. I've got to surrender, right? And then as I've been working with and meditating with this, right, because I get this information in the field. It doesn't come to me while I'm thinking and blah, blah, blah. I started to realize, because I was thinking about what Joe explained about his relationship with his mother and how it worked, and I've asked, it's going to come, I trust, I relax. I realized surrender must mean I've got to trust. And that was what I was programming and bringing in and paying attention to and creating in my experience yesterday in my meditation. And I had to do a lot of that yesterday because I was a bit out of balance and my body was telling me stories about how much there was to be afraid of. And I just said, no, there isn't, buddy. There is no lion in the room. There is nothing to be afraid of all day long. More in the afternoon, but all day long. And then today, I made a connection last night. I made the connection today. Yesterday I was practicing elevated emotions because the best way to deal with stress is to say, no, body, you're not going to feel stress. I'm going to feel unlimited. I'm going to feel inspired. I'm going to feel invincible. I'm going to feel empowered. I'm going to feel free. And I've been practicing these emotions in my walking meditations. Can you tell? They're all different frequencies, and I'm getting better at embodying them. So I was doing that because I didn't want to be where my body was trying to be. And then this morning, I sat down to do my thing, and it was like, hang on a minute. They all go together. When I surrender, which means I trust, which means I relax, which means I can receive whatever, but fundamentally love, then I am invincible. Then I am free. Then I am empowered. Then I am whatever I desire to be. When I trust, when I surrender enough to relax and receive. And it's a really deep thing. This morning, and it just came together. Oh my God, these go together. I actually can't recall because I had the wonderful opportunity. I had extra time last night. I got done really quickly. I sat down and did another meditation before bed. I had the best night's sleep. It was great. But something just clicked, and I think it was actually last night. I thought, oh, surrender, trust. I'm invincible when I do that. Oh my God, that's the connection. It's not, I give up, I'm powerless. It's, I surrender, I trust, I relax, I receive. I am everything that I need to be now because it can get into me. It can arrive. So that's the other option. And it means not doing everything that this organism and the brain has done for eons in order to survive. You got to stop doing that. If you want to truly surrender, which means truly letting go into love. Morning, Kelly. When you can do that, and I'm not saying necessarily that I'm going to stay here all day, because that's the challenge for me. This is the thing that I know I'm moving through. As much as my brain goes, oh, you're going to die, there's lions in the usual bullshit. I understand that this is what this challenge that I'm facing is about. Because not doing what I've just been talking about, not even realizing that I wasn't doing, and not understanding how much I have had to, because of life, manage and control and organize and, keep so many plates in the air. But that's what's kept me in lack. It's what's kept me in fear. And I don't want to be that me anymore. So I have to break this habit of being myself. And I'm in the process of doing it. And this is part of it. Surrender for me is beyond giving up and letting go. It's about feeling so safe with not knowing that I can relax and I can receive anyway, no matter what is happening in 3D. And I've spoken about this recently, although in a different context. Something I have only realized a few days ago is that when my conscious mind is truly asleep, that 5% is gone, there is no thought, there's just awareness. I don't require any will to do what I want to do. I'm awareness. I choose my thought. That's it. But as soon as I'm in 3D dealing with life and all the triggers and the stuff that's going on and and whatever information is coming from my body and inside and out my skin, all of that, I have to apply will to not let that information overwhelm me and become what I think is true. So will applies in 3D. In 5D, when I'm truly there, it is effortless. I just create. I am, I do, I be, whatever. So it's powerful. Yeah, you're right. It is powerful. And it's just visceral and becoming more so every day. And by the way, I'm starting to really, I was trying to explain to my husband last night what I've been feeling physically in my body. Because when you start to do this stuff and release and relax, things start to move in physicality. And, and so I'm starting to feel all this energy move in my body. It's powerful. And one of the testimonials that I've watched many times now, I've lost count, this lady says, there's a million bees in my chest. Imagine that. You know how they all, each one vibrates? Hi, Robin. I don't have that here yet. But it is like, just that vibration. But it's like each cell is vibrating. It's not, it's like every single cell in the places where this starts to happen, my body's starting to light up because energy is starting to move, and the microtubules, which are the structure, the skeleton of the cell, and actually like the little antennae that receive frequency, that means they're getting frequency. And that to me is like, oh my God, this is happening, yes. And it's just, oh, thank you. I'm connecting. This energy is happening. And no effort. But the will, you're right, Andrea, sometimes it is like striving. But it's striving, if you like, to overcome ourselves to say, no, I am not going to be that anymore. It's you, Jocelyn. Sorry, honey. You see, I remembered your surname. It's been a little while since I've seen you live, although you might have been on, but, Facebook doesn't always tell me. It's just gorgeous to see you. Good morning, Laura. Just time to say goodbye. So yeah, that's what I have been creating. And I would love to know what barriers you hit, where your breakthroughs are, because then we can have a bigger conversation just about what I'm going through. And I always love to do that because, I'm going through my stuff, but what about yours? Can I have a useful conversation that will elucidate your journey? I'd love to do that. Drop me a line if you wish. Thank you so much. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.